Hey everyone, you're welcome to another edition of Enlightening Research webinar organized by Plus-CircleCommunityHealth Advancement Organization. Today, our expert, Dr. Abayomi Akonde, will be guiding us on how to cite like a pro using referencing software. Referencing is a crucial aspect of research work, and so it is important for researchers to know how to use referencing tool in order to achieve accuracy and efficiency of citation. Kindly put your microphone on mute so as not to get distracted by noise from the background. And if you have any question during the course of the presentation, please, you can drop it in the chat box or wait till the question and answer session when you'll be able to use the hand raise icon, after which you'll be called upon to hear your question. I will implore you all to follow us on our different social media platforms that will be dropped in the comment section to get updates on opportunities like this and other health information. Shortly, I'll be reading the bio of our speaker. Dr. Abayomi Akonde is a public health physician with a passion for fieldwork, infectious disease, and non-communicable disease research. A graduate of the prestigious University of Ilorin of the Medicine and Surgery, MBBS, is a fellow of the Nigerian Field Epidemiology Training Program Advanced Course and member of the West African College of Physicians. Professional affiliations: West African College of Physicians, Association of Public Health Physicians of Nigeria, Epidemiological Society of Nigeria, Society for Public Health Professionals of Nigeria, Nigeria Medical Association, Association of Resident Doctors. Dr. Akonde has several publications in notable journals. He has knowledge and experience in performing high-quality strategic health program planning, monitoring and evaluation activities, and has a considerable experience in carrying out in-depth health situation analysis, technical report writing, data entry, analysis, and presentation. Permit me to welcome Dr. Abayomi Akonde. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So it's good to be here. So can I share my slide?
Yes, you can go ahead, sir.
All right. We'll look at the different citation styles. Then we'll have an introduction to reference managers, and then we'll come down on Mendeley, which is a popular and very good referencing manager. Then we'll have a practice session on Mendeley before we take the question and answers. I hope we'll be able to take all this in one session, but if we can't, maybe we'll have to split it into two sessions. So briefly, the objectives of today's session is to have an understanding of the importance of correct citation. Then we'll have an introduction to reference management packages and develop a working knowledge of Mendeley. So why do we reference? This is an important question that you must answer if you are going to learn reference managers. So we reference so that we can give credit to others for their work. You have gone through the work of others, because if you are doing any project, you have to do a literature search, and you are quoting from others. So you must give credit to them for their work, because if you don't, it's going to be an offense. Then you have to add credibility to your work by demonstrating that you used appropriate literature sources. So which sources did you use? People want to check. Did you use literature that are out of date, or you used literature that are not acceptable? So for you to have credibility for your own work, you must demonstrate that you used appropriate sources. Then 3, you must show how your work is built on previous work. So we want to know, why did you decide to do these projects? Are there gaps from previous literature or from previous projects? Are there new things that you have developed from the previous work of others? So you must show what the progression and the gaps that you are filling. And then lastly, you must help readers discover further information. So I'm interested in a particular topic, and I don't know where to start my search from. All I need to do is find your work. Then from there, I go to your references, and it's easy for me to discover further information. So what is plagiarism? If you quote from others and you don't give them credits, you say you have plagiarized. So what does this really mean? So plagiarism means to pass off the ideas or words of another as your own. So you have looked at somebody's work, you have taken the words, and then you have added it to your own work. And if you don't reference, anybody reading your work will assume that it's your idea or your words. So, and that is plagiarism. So it also means to use another's work without crediting the source. So you must always look for the source of what you are using and then give credit to the person that had that idea. And it also means to present as new and original an idea or product derived from an existing source. So if you have an idea and you have developed it from somebody else's idea, you should give credit to that person, not that you pass it on as if, oh, it's my own idea, I'm the one that developed this. And this happens a lot of times because we don't think that ideas should be credited. A lot of times people credit words, but they don't credit ideas. But if you took an idea from somebody, you should credit that person. So the best way to avoid plagiarism is to cite your sources, whether it's within the body of your paper or in the bibliography of sources that you used for your paper. You should always, credit your sources. Then you are free to quote from your own earlier work. Maybe you have a publication and you are building on it. Then you should also credit yourself. So don't assume because it's my work, I can't plagiarize my own work. No, sorry, but you can plagiarize your own work. So give credit to yourself. Okay, so what is the purpose of citation? So sources need to be acknowledged when you are writing your project, thesis, dissertation, paper, book, even if it's just a chapter, you must credit the sources. So this allows your teacher to check your work, to see which sources of information you used, and to ensure you haven't just made up the information. And also, referees, reviewers, examiners can verify the content of your work. So if you quote a figure or you quote a sentence, your reviewer can always go to your references and check that, okay, do you have correct figures? This quotation, is that how it was quoted in previous sources? So this is what citations helps us to achieve. So what do we cite? Okay, now I know that citation is important. I know it helps me to, avoid plagiarism. And please note that if you send any paper to any journal for publication, they'll probably run your paper through a plagiarism checker, which you should also do on your own before you send your papers. So you run it through a plagiarism checker and it will, give you a score and show you whether you have, run foul of the law. So what should I cite? If you should cite words, opinions, statistics, facts. Anytime you quote statistics, you must cite it. So you can't just tell us the fertility rate in Nigeria is so, and there's no, you don't cite it. It's not acceptable because that means it's your own idea or your own words. So where did you get it from? Even if it's from your own previous work, you must cite it anytime you quote a statistics in your study. Then facts also, you must quote, you must cite the sources. So you can't just tell us that men are more likely to die from hypertension than women, and then you move on without, giving us the reference. Because what you are stating is a fact, and we want to know where you got that fact from. Then information from an author or any other source. Once you quote information, you must give us the citation. And also pictorials. A lot of times people just copy pictures from the internet without, acknowledging the sources, but you should. Once you have a picture, even if it's an open source, you should reference where you quoted it from. And then lastly, when in doubt, you should always cite your source. You are not sure, should I cite, should I not cite? The best option is to cite, because you don't want to face consequences of being charged with plagiarism. So if I want to cite, what are the rules of citation? So please follow this clearly. You must be clear in your citation. When you are citing, it should be clear what you are citing. Once I read it, I should be able to know that, okay, this person is citing this particular publication. Then it should be in the correct format. So different journals may give you different format for you to submit your book. So you must follow the correct format. Institutions also have their own styles. So you should know the style of your institution if you are, writing for maybe a thesis for your master's or your PhD. So you must follow the correct format. Then you should cite only items that you have read. Don't just read a paper, then they give a citation from another source, and then you just quote that source and cite. You should go to the main source and read it. Then you should check reference against the original source. So this is important because a lot of times people cite somebody that cited another person without going to the original source. So you should always, it may take you 2 or 3 steps to get to the original source, but you should always go to the original source. Then carefully follow the journal's instructions to authors, because most journals will send you their instructions. As for our journal, this is the way we prefer you to put down your citation. So you have to follow it carefully. You can't discard it as, no, their rules are not good enough. I know how to cite, because they are the ones that will dictate, and your citation can be an issue for you when you are writing journals. Then use other articles in the same journal as model. So just go to the journal, check other papers that they have published, and use it as a model. So when you are citing, you should clearly state the author, the title, the publication information for print, online, broadcast, and interview-based text that you see. So all the bibliography and so forth, you should, clearly state them. So the different citation styles that we have, there are many, of course. This list is not exhaustive, but just to bring out a few. So I'm sure a lot of us are conversant with the Upper style and the Vancouver, but there are other different styles. And each journal will tell you the type of style that they want. So now we'll go to our reference manager and just look at what they do and how they work before we move on to the practice session. So reference manager or reference management software are programs that simplify the process of reference management by allowing users to collect, store, and organize references, insert citations at the appropriate space in the body of manuscript, and generate a list of references in an appropriate format of bibliographic style. So they simplify the work for you. They make it easy. So you don't need to have a list of these are my references and start writing it down on paper or typing it somewhere on your system. I've had to go through manual referencing before, and it was an headache. Because once you change anything, you have to start typing and going back one by one. But, in this age and time, anybody that is still doing manual referencing, sorry, but you are not helping yourself. So reference managers simplify the work. It's so easy and makes life easy because all your references, even if you have 100 publications, you don't need to, have a separate folder for your references. You can import them and, have different folders in your reference manager for different projects that you have done. And anytime you want to change a reference, at a click, it will update your referencing. If you have maybe you have done 100 references and then you need to add one at between 19 and 20, all you need to do is at a click, it will add it and then update your references, update your bibliography. And we have different types of reference manager, EndNote, Zotero, RefWorks, Mendeley. The popular ones are the EndNote, Zotero, and Mendeley. And we'll go into them and look at their differences and similarities and how to use them. So reference managers also help you to keep a database, which I've mentioned, very important. You need a database of references. And, most of them come with a storage facility of different sizes, which we'll also look into. So they provide citation and references in proper formats for your target journal. So these are the common ones. And as you can see, the Zotero, Mendeley, and EndNotes. In this chart, I'll also show you how to, put Mendeley on your system and how to navigate using Mendeley. But most of them are free. It's only EndNotes that you need to pay initially. But for Zotero and Mendeley, they are free. However, because when you say they are free, doesn't mean that there's no form of payment. But it depends on how much you are using it, or how often or how big your data is. So for Zotero, initially free, it's open source. It has a web browser just like the others. But when we say it's free, it only comes with 300 MB of storage. So if you compare that to Mendeley that comes with 2 GB of storage, you can see that there's a big difference. So for Zotero, if you want to upgrade your storage, you need to pay. So if you want the 2 gig storage, you pay is $20 per year. And if you are using more than 2 gig, if you want to upgrade to 6 gig, it's $60 per year. So the same thing with Mendeley. Mendeley is free, but if 2 gig is too small for you, you want to upgrade to 5 gig, you pay $55 per year. And if the 5 gig is too small and you want to upgrade to 10 gig storage, you pay $110 per year. So that's the difference. But for EndNotes, you need to pay. So you can pay a one-time purchase. It will give you unlimited storage, but you pay $300. But they also have, they also consider that students may not be able to afford that. So there's a student license of $140. So those are the main differences. But for us, I'm sure most people will go for Zotero and Mendeley. And I've been using Mendeley. I've not exhausted my 2 gig storage for years. So, and then because what you are importing are PDF files and they are not large. So you download, and then it also has a limited web storage. So you can actually use if you don't want to download the app, you can actually use the web storage, but it's limited, it's not up to 2 gigs. So those are the three, and they, in a lot of ways, they are similar, particularly in their organization. So when you open it, I will show you the, okay, so this Zotero, as you can see, you have to download. So that's step one. You go to zotero.org, you download it. Then you open. So yeah, you must download both the Zotero and then the Zotero connector if you are going to be using a Zotero. So, and as you can see, this the interface for Zotero. This is how it looks like. The three of them have similar interface, although of course there are a little bit of changes in the way they organize them, but they are actually similar in application. So you are going to see library, and then you are going to see the different things that you want to, because in you can create your own library where you have different projects, and then you must be able to import your PDF files into your library. So they all have, in this operation, they are all similar. And then they also have similar way of displaying the files or the projects that you have downloaded in your library. And then they also have similar ways of inserting your citation into the body of your work and bringing up your bibliography. So this is how Zotero looks like when you go to your Word document, because as soon as you download, it will add here, as you can see, this MS Word. So this is the Zotero app within the MS Word. So the same way, when you download Mendeley, you will have your Mendeley in your MS Word. So that's where you go when you want to cite. So as you can see, this person has written, and while writing, he has put citation. So he wants to change this to he has connected Zotero, and as soon as he clicks on the Zotero app, it will bring up the citation here. So these are some of the things that of course we'll have a practice session on later. So this is for EndNote. It's also similar. This is a library, and these are the files. So once you click on any library, like here, this person has clicked on this library. So these are the different files within the library. So the others, Mendeley and Zotero, may not have some of these things here, but by and large, they are similar. So once you click on any of the files here, it will actually bring out a metadata of the study that you have clicked on. So the metadata will include the author, the year, and then other things like the keywords and the URL. So this is also still EndNote. So you can actually search for studies going through your EndNote, and then you can import the studies directly from the net. So you don't need to, first of all, download the PDF on your system and then start copy and pasting. You can just go straight from EndNote to the internet and download it from internet to your EndNote. So there, as you can see, so your online search mode must be on if you want to do that. And once you click on this to bring up, and then once you click confirm, okay, it will import it into your EndNote. So it makes it easy. So the same way that Zotero does, once you have EndNote installed, you will have it on your MS Word. So you want to cite, you click here to bring it up, and then you can simply cite directly into your MS Word. And then the same thing when you want to import your bibliography, you go to bibliography, and once you click on it, it will download all the papers that you have referenced in the body. So Mendeley, how many minutes have we spent? 30 minutes. Okay, so we'll do an introduction to Mendeley and probably see how we'll go on from there. So Mendeley is the one that we are going to use for our practice. It's owned and maintained by Elsevier. I hope we all have accounts with Elsevier. If you don't, you should have one. So after this session, go and create an account with Elsevier. So it's a free web and desktop app. It comes with 2 gig storage, and then also has paid options. And it has a desktop application which uses your computer storage. So the desktop app is very good. So there is a web browser plugin for grabbing citations from the web. So you just, once you have a plugin, it grabs the citation, and then it's cross-platform. So you can use it for Windows, for MacBook, for Linux. So across board, you can use it. And it works with all major browsers. So no matter the browser you are using, and Mendeley is likely to be there. So whether you are using Chrome or other browser, it will work with Mendeley. So annotation and markup of PDFs can be done within the app, and it has a dedicated customer support service. So if you have any problem, if you contact their customer service, they'll get back to you ASAP. So these are the download links which you would need when you want to use Mendeley. So you need the reference manager, which is the app itself. You download it on your system. Then the Mendeley site, which is the Word add-on. So the Mendeley site is the one that will be added to your MS Word. So you need it also, because without it, you won't be able to cite. Then the web importer, which will be added to your browser. So whether it's Chrome, you are using Firefox, or you are using a MacBook, you need the web importer. So it will add it, and then you can actually just go straight to the web and do some citations. So there's a link to Elsevier in the chat. I think you can just go there and okay. So for the Mendeley session, we are going to look at how to navigate, the Mendeley reference manager, the different sections in it, and how to go about it. Then how to build your own Mendeley library. Then how to use the Mendeley web importer. Then how to insert citations into your Word document, which of course is what many of us are here for. Then at the end of the day, how to insert your bibliography. So this is the Mendeley interface. I know this is not very clear, but I will have a clearer one as we move on. So, and you can see you have different sections. You have your library. You have where you can add new journals to your library. We have collections, so you can have different collections. You can create private groups. You can create public groups. These are the journals that have been added to this particular library. So you can open all references, or you can go to a particular library. And then you have, you can search, and you can add, you can delete from your library. And you can also, because at times the metadata is not complete, so that's why it's important for you to actually check the metadata. so that when you reference, it will reference completely. So if you open and the metadata is not complete, you can actually manually correct it and add to it. Because at times, the way it will import it may not be perfect. So it may just add, depending on the source, it may all be in upper case. So you may need to change it, or you may need to add something to it. So, but it's easy to do. All you need to do is just to make sure that everything is correct before you add it, you insert it into the body of your work. So we'll look at how to build Mendeley library and other things, but I think we've spent almost 40 minutes. So maybe we'll just look at this, and then next session, we'll do a recap and then a practice session. So when you want to do your Mendeley library, there are different ways you can import into Mendeley. So you can drag and drop PDFs from your computer. You can import files instead of dragging and dropping. You can import directly. So you click and it will ask you to search and you import. Then you can manually create an entry. So you copy the DOI and you create it manually. Then you can import content from internet. In this case, use the Mendeley web browser. So anyone that is convenient for you or that you find easier, because people have, different ways of, doing their own things. But the one that is easier for you is the one that you can do, and all of them work the same way. So then inserting citations, generating bibliography, look into all of this, and all of these things are easy to do, but the way apps work is once you have done it once and you continue to do it, you find it easier, and then you find shortcuts, because a lot of all these things have their own shortcuts, and once you've practiced it and you discover it, you can do it your own way and you'll find it easy to do. So you can edit references, you can add to it, you can even search for your references in your Mendeley library so that it makes it easy for you when you want to import. Then you can do individual or multiple references. So all these are the advantages of using Mendeley. And like I said, it comes with 2 gig storage. So you probably won't exhaust it in years unless you have hundreds of work that you are doing simultaneously. So you can choose your preferred citation style. In fact, you can create your own style, but I'm not sure many of us are going to do that, because you probably have the institution or the journal will probably give you their citation style, and most of the time there are things that you can just search for on Mendeley and import it. So Mendeley has thousands of different citation styles, so you select on that. So you search and you select your preferred style, and it will automatically update. In fact, if you have a paper and maybe you've been using one style and you discover that you used the wrong style, all you need to do is change the style in Mendeley, and once you click, it will update everything. So it makes it very easy. Then you can refresh your references in your documents. Well, because if you had a new reference, you refresh, it will update it and change, update any changes that you have made. And then Mendeley makes it seamless to cite. So once you have your Mendeley library and MS Word open side by side, you can cite seamlessly. And if you don't want to do that, just go to Mendeley site and install, and you can also cite, easily from there. So you can, okay, oh, sorry. Yeah. All right. So these are some of my own bibliography. Like I said, you should always give credit to others. A lot of these things that I've shown today, they are not my own ideas. So these are the people that, I looked at their work before putting this slide together. So we'll have a practice session, but I don't know if time will permit us now. We've spent 40 minutes already. So I'll yield the floor to our moderator. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abayomi Akonde, for that amazing session. It was inspiring and value-packed. I really learned a lot, and I want to believe that every other person did the same. Now I'll be taking questions. I can see one in the comment section, and I want to believe that every other person is preparing their questions. So I'll be waiting for it. While I read this out, while we wait for others, I'll read this out. Can Mendeley be used offline like EndNote? Sir, over to you.
Okay, thank you. So you can use Mendeley offline. That's the beauty. You don't need to be online once you have created your folders and imported the studies, so you can use it offline. The only time you need to be online is if you are using the web app and you don't want to download the PDF file and you want to cite it. So you can check online and cite directly from the web. But otherwise, if you are using the Mendeley application itself, which you have downloaded to your system and you have imported into your folders, you don't need to be online to use Mendeley.
Okay, please, if you want to ask your question directly, you can use the hand raise icon. And if otherwise, you can drop it in the comment section. Okay, please, a link has been dropped in the comment section to get our feedback regarding today's webinar and also to collate suggestions for future webinars. Please do well to fill it out. Click on the link and fill out the survey. Then while we wait for other questions to come in, I have a question to ask. Okay, sorry, before I hear my question, there's a question here asking if the recording will be shared with the participant. Yes, the recording will be shared in our respective mails, so be expecting it. Okay, sir, thank you for your presentation. As you have said, referencing is very, very important while we are doing our research work. I wanted to know, sir, what if I'm using a work that has not been published before? Maybe I got it from the library or other source. How can I reference that, sir? How can I cite it and as well or do the bibliography?
Okay, thank you. So you won't be able to do a bibliography since there's no publication, but what it's safe for you to just put in bracket that you put the name of the person that did the work and just put on unpublished work. So that way nobody can accuse you of copying their work, because I've had an issue before where somebody said, oh, I shared my idea with this person and he quickly ran off to do a work on it. And it became a tussle between the two of them. So, but if you are going to be sincere, you will just put the name of the person and put on published work. So nobody is going to ask you to only put published work if the person has not published it. But of course, the person too probably quoted from somewhere. So just like I said, you should look for the original source, because people tend to quote from someone without looking at the fact that this person probably quoted from somewhere. So unless that person came up with an original idea, in which case you quote the person. But if the person has quoted somebody else, you don't need to reference that person. You reference the original source. That's why some people have a lot of citation of their work, because they did the original work. So people always make reference to them, not because everybody is reading their work, but because people read the people that have referenced them. So always try and go back to your original source. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, sir. That is well understood. Okay, I'll take another question again. Can Mendeley be used? Okay, I think I've taken that earlier.
Okay, I can see a question here asking about the cracked versions.
Okay.
The person said there are
Yes.
some cracked versions of EndNote. Is it advisable to use in order to reap its benefits? Well, cracked versions are cracked versions, but they can be used. However, for me, I don't see a reason why I should go for a cracked version when I can use Mendeley that is free and does exactly the same work. So I would advise stick to Mendeley or Zotero rather than looking for cracked versions. But if you are an EndNote person and you don't want to cover the $300, well, maybe, however, for me, Mendeley is good enough.
Okay. Can I take the next question, sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
All right. Can Mendeley be added to other apps like WPS Office instead of Microsoft Word?
Oh, sure. You can add Mendeley to WPS. It works just the same way.
Okay. Someone is asking if we can have the practical session for a few minutes. I think you said that earlier that it will be taken in the next yes, next week.
Yeah.
That will be next week.
Because it's almost 9 o'clock. I need to run somewhere now.
Okay, there is another question, sir. Can Mendeley be used to cite information from websites like the WHO or CDC?
Oh, yes. So the good thing, just like I mentioned, is you can manually correct the metadata. So once you have imported the whether it's WHO or CDC into your Mendeley, you click on it, it will bring up the metadata. So usually it may not be organized very well since it's not like a journal in most times. So you can correct it, put it in the format that you want, the way you want it to flow, and then just keep it like that. So anytime you quote, it will quote appropriately. Maybe when we have a session, I'll make a note of that so we can look at quoting from WHO. So it can be done.
Okay. Let me take the next one, sir. In scientific writing, how acceptable is newspaper citation? Okay. Okay, I'm
So
coming. I've lost it. Next.
is that the end of the question?
Okay, that is citing information from a newspaper.
Okay. So you can't really quote from newspapers in scientific writing. You can't say, oh, the newspaper, maybe a newspaper said that the flood in Borno killed 200 people. So you can't really use that as a scientific quotation. So you should, if there are no other sources, scientific sources that you can quote for the mortality rate of something or any quotation, and it's only newspaper that is available, then you must make it clear while you are writing that this is a newspaper source. Because at times there simply is no, maybe what you are studying is a first of its kind. There simply is no other information anywhere else. You can put it there, but just make it plain that this is a newspaper quotation. So in such instances, they may look at it and, okay, there's no study, so it can be accepted. But scientifically, the best option is look for a source where you can quote from, because government have their own sources. Because even the flood thing, by the time you go to NEMA, you will see something that you can quote. So quoting from newspaper is best avoided, unless that you cannot avoid it. But I wouldn't advise using any newspaper quotation in your study.
Okay, thank you for that, sir. Okay, if I change my laptop, sir, can I recover my Mendeley library on another laptop?
Oh, yes, you can. I've changed laptop like 2 or 3 times. Like I said earlier, this is a new laptop I'm using, and my Mendeley, I just imported it yesterday. Everything is intact. So all you need is your Elsevier account. So that's why I said it's important. We must all have our Elsevier accounts. And since it's linked to your email, once you open it, everything will open. So that's the beauty of Mendeley. So you can't lose your library. So even if anything happens to your laptop, you are sure that your Mendeley is still intact.
Okay, thank you, sir, for that. Okay, there's another question here. On which occasion do we use footnotes referencing?
Okay, so the footnote is for you to you are reading, because once you have created your library, you have everything in your library. So you don't need to, and that's why some people have pay for the extra storage in Mendeley, because everything that they are reading about their work is on Mendeley, so that you don't need to be searching for things on your system. So let's say you are doing a work on Marburg virus. So you have a folder on Marburg virus, and then you have maybe 200 PDF files in that folder. So, and you are looking at a particular aspect of the virus, maybe the historical background or the infectivity or the virulence. So you can actually open an annotation for that, and then each time you are reading on that aspect, you just put it by the side. So it's not as if you are going to be referencing that, but it's going to help you in your writing. So the annotations and footnotes, that's what they are meant for. So you can actually put a footnote or put an annotation on your imported folders in Mendeley.
Okay, thank you, sir. Another person is asking if one can share a Mendeley library with another person, especially when you are co-authors.
Yes, you can. You can do that. So there is you have in Mendeley, you have is okay. Sorry, I thought my connection broke off. So there's a place for sharing of library in Mendeley. So it's easy for you to share. So there's individual library, there's shared. So next week when we meet, we'll also look at that as part of our practice session.
Okay. Someone is asking if Mendeley is not going to request for institutional email, which many do not have.
Okay, so it will not, because once you have your Elsevier account, you have access to Mendeley. So they will not bother you with institutional email. So I think the link for Elsevier has been shared in the chat. So all of us should just create an account with Elsevier. So once you have that, Mendeley will not bother you with institutional email.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Then there is one person asking if referencing styles are present on, I think the person meant to write Mendeley. Okay. Are all referencing styles present on Mendeley? I mean, APA, MLA, Vancouver.
Oh, yes. Mendeley has plenty. I think I don't know the number of it, but all these ones listed are much more on Mendeley. So we'll navigate through the different referencing styles when we have this session.
Okay. Thank you for the answers to the questions, sir. I hope that everyone that has questions have gotten clarification to the questions they asked. I think one person was raising his hand the other time. I don't know, I'm not seeing any hand raised here. Or maybe the person's questions has been answered. Okay. Okay, let me check if you have further question. Okay, I think we have attended to all questions. So do we still have questions to ask? Okay, I don't think we have any other question from the participants. Okay, so since there are no more questions, I'll be bringing this meeting to a close. Thank you everyone that participated in today's webinar. Once again, thank you, Dr. Abayomi Akonde, for sharing with us from your wealth of knowledge. Colleagues, please endeavor to put into application all what you have learned here, as it will help you to sharpen your skills and become better in your research endeavor. Please do not forget to follow us on our different social media platforms for more updates. And also, please do well to always stay tuned for another episode, an edition of a webinar like this from Plus-CircleCommunityHealth Advancement, because the second part of this presentation will be coming up next week. Thank you very much. And that will be all for now. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you. Bye.
Dr. Akonde, thank you.